My friends, God created marriage to be one of the greatest blessings this life can offer. A covenant, not just a contract. It is a holy union where two become one. And in that oneness, there is not only companionship and trust, but a deep sacred intimacy that reflects God's design. In the Bible, we read that the two shall become one flesh. That's not just about physical unity. It is about emotional closeness, spiritual harmony, and a lifelong commitment to love and serve each other selflessly. When a husband and wife care for one another, support one another, and give themselves to each other in love, something beautiful happens. Their marriage becomes a testimony to the world of what true love looks like. You see, real love, godly love, is not selfish. It doesn't ask, what can I get from this person? But rather, how can I bless them? It's not about keeping score or fulfilling duties. It's about joyfully choosing each other every single day, in word, in action, and yes, even in the quiet intimacy shared behind closed doors. That too, my friends, is part of God's plan. He made it beautiful, sacred, and purposeful. So if you are married, I encourage you, cherish your spouse, speak life over them, look for ways to serve them, love them, and support their growth. Keep the flame of connection alive, not only in affection but in laughter, communication, prayer, and yes, intimacy that is built on trust and love. And if you're struggling in your relationship, don't give up. God is able to heal, to restore, and to bring new life where love feels lost. Turn to Him and turn toward each other with humility and grace. A marriage that honors God, that values mutual devotion, will become stronger, more joyful, and more fulfilling with each passing season. Let your marriage be a light, a sanctuary, and a source of joy, not only to yourselves, but to your children, your community, and the world. Because when a couple grows in love, anchored in faith, they shine with a strength the world cannot ignore. Devotion inspires purpose. Devotion inspires purpose in a way that few other forces can. When someone is devoted to a person, a mission, a cause, or even a calling, it brings meaning to their actions and clarity to their direction. Devotion is not passive, it is a deeply active commitment that drives consistency, passion, and resilience. When devotion is present, it turns ordinary efforts into purposeful progress. It gives people the reason to rise, to strive, and to endure. In relationships, especially in marriage or committed partnerships, devotion becomes the unseen force that breathes life into the bond. A devoted partner doesn't just show up in good times. They remain steady in the storms, offering encouragement when things get tough, and standing firm when others might walk away. That kind of unwavering loyalty awakens something in a person. It tells them, you are worth showing up for. And when someone feels genuinely supported and believed in, they begin to live with greater confidence and clearer purpose. Think about a man who is unsure of his place in the world. Maybe life has knocked him down a few times. But then he sees the devotion in his partner's eyes, not just love, but a belief that he still has something great to give, something meaningful to accomplish. That look alone can reignite a fire in his heart. He begins to ask himself, what am I here to do? What kind of man do I want to become for her, for us, for our future? That's the power of devotion. It shifts the focus from surviving to thriving. It transforms the I have to into I want to. Because purpose, when fueled by love, becomes a choice, not a burden. Devotion also inspires purpose in day-to-day life. Whether it's waking up early to provide for a family, staying late to build a dream, or choosing patience over frustration, a devoted heart always finds a reason to keep going. There is something profound about knowing that your efforts matter to someone else. It turns work into service, routine into ritual, and duty into honor. Purpose rooted in devotion isn't about grand gestures. It's found in the small things. The consistent presence, the listening ear, the gentle hand that reaches out in the dark. These moments add up. They become the thread that weaves the fabric of a strong, meaningful life. And when people live with that kind of consistency in heart, they naturally begin to walk in purpose. Their lives take on meaning that goes beyond personal gain and reach into the lives of those around them. This kind of devotion isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. It speaks to the soul. It calls out something deeper than just ambition or success. It asks, how can I serve with love? And how can I grow, not just for myself, but for the people I care about? That shift from self-centered to others-focused living creates a purpose that lasts. It becomes a legacy, not just a life. In the end, devotion is not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about choosing love over and over, even when it's hard. It's about being someone that others can count on. And in that commitment, something powerful happens. Purpose takes root. A person who feels truly loved and supported becomes braver, bolder, and more focused. They don't just exist, they live with intention. And that, more than anything, is how devotion shapes destiny. Emotional strength creates stability. Emotional strength creates stability in ways that are often unseen but deeply felt. It is the foundation beneath the surface of every healthy relationship. every lasting marriage, and every resilient individual. While many focus on external factors like financial success or achievements, it is emotional resilience and balance that hold everything together when life becomes uncertain. It's the quiet strength that doesn't shout but anchors. Emotional strength doesn't mean suppressing feelings or pretending to be unaffected by life's challenges. Instead, it is the ability to acknowledge, understand, and regulate emotions with wisdom and maturity. It means responding rather than reacting, choosing calm over chaos, and offering patience instead of frustration. This kind of strength doesn't come overnight. It is developed through experiences, reflection, and intentional growth. And once it is cultivated, it becomes a source of remarkable stability, not only for the individual but for those around them. In relationships, emotional strength acts as a grounding force. When one partner can remain steady in moments of tension, it prevents the entire relationship from unraveling. Disagreements become discussions. Setbacks become opportunities to connect. The emotionally strong person becomes a safe place, a person who can listen without judgment, speak with clarity, and love without conditions. Their stability creates an atmosphere where both partners feel secure, heard, and valued. This inner strength is especially powerful in moments of uncertainty. Life has a way of testing us, whether through financial pressure, health issues, personal loss, or unexpected changes. In these moments, emotional strength shines the brightest. It allows a person to remain centered, to be the calm in the storm. Rather than breaking under pressure, they bend and adapt. This adaptability reassures others. It says we may not have all the answers right now, but we will get through this. That kind of energy is contagious. It spreads peace. Emotional strength also creates stability within families. Children, for example, look to the adults in their lives to feel safe. A parent who can manage their emotions teaches their children to do the same. A home filled with emotional steadiness fosters confidence, trust, and well-being. It's not about always being happy or perfect. It's about showing up with consistency and grace. That consistency becomes a child's first lesson in what love and strength really look like. In partnerships, emotional strength doesn't mean being the one who never falters. It means being honest about fears and feelings while also being able to carry the emotional load with maturity. It's about taking responsibility for your actions, apologizing when wrong, and forgiving when needed. These small acts build trust, and trust is the bedrock of lasting stability. Moreover, emotional strength leads to better communication. A person who has developed emotional awareness can express their needs and boundaries without guilt or aggression. They don't lash out, they lean in. They listen before they speak, and when they do speak, their words build rather than break. This kind of communication builds strong emotional infrastructure within any relationship. Even outside of personal relationships, emotional strength brings stability to teams, communities, and workplaces. Leaders who possess emotional intelligence tend to inspire more loyalty and cooperation. Their steadiness creates environments where people feel motivated and secure. Stability in leadership comes not from control, but from the ability to handle pressure with grace and respond to others with empathy. Ultimately, emotional strength is a quiet power. It doesn't seek attention, but its effects are undeniable. It creates a ripple effect, bringing stability to marriages, families, friendships, and communities. It allows people to stand firm, love deeply, and live peacefully, even when the world feels chaotic. It's not about having all the answers, but about being anchored enough to face any question with courage and compassion. Emotional strength is the unseen pillar of lasting stability, and cultivating it is one of the most powerful choices a person can make. Faithfulness builds confidence. Faithfulness builds confidence in a relationship like deep roots support a growing tree. When someone is faithful, consistently present, loyal, and devoted, they create a space where trust can flourish and confidence can grow. Faithfulness isn't just about staying physically committed, it's about emotional presence, reliability, and the kind of loyalty that doesn't waver in the face of trials. Over time, this steady presence becomes the foundation for a secure relationship where each person feels safe to be fully themselves.
In today's world where distractions and temptations are everywhere, faithfulness is more than just a virtue, it's a gift. To be faithful is to say, I choose you again and again no matter what. That choice made daily in both small and significant ways communicates love in its purest form. It gives both partners the freedom to grow, dream, and take emotional risks, knowing they are supported by someone who won't turn away when things get hard. Confidence thrives in an environment where people know they are seen, valued, and safe. A faithful partner creates that environment by being dependable. When someone keeps their word, shows up when it matters, and honors their commitments, their partner begins to relax into the relationship. There is no constant fear of abandonment or betrayal. Instead, there is a calm assurance that they are loved not just for what they offer, but for who they are.
That assurance becomes the soil where emotional confidence can grow. This kind of relational security has powerful effects. A person who feels confident in their relationship is more likely to pursue their goals, express their creativity, and share their true thoughts and feelings. They don't waste energy second-guessing their partner's loyalty. That freedom leads to emotional openness, deeper intimacy, and greater satisfaction in the relationship. In contrast, relationships that lack faithfulness often become filled with fear, insecurity, and miscommunication, creating emotional distance and instability. Faithfulness also builds self-confidence within the person who practices it. When you are faithful to someone else, you are also being faithful to your own values. There is a quiet strength in being loyal, in resisting fleeting urges in favor of long-term commitment. Over time, this builds integrity, which is one of the greatest forms of self-respect. A person who lives with integrity walks taller, speaks more clearly, and lives more peacefully. They don't carry the burden of guilt or double lives, they walk in the light of honesty and purpose. In times of struggle, faithfulness becomes even more critical. Every relationship will face tests, financial stress, health challenges, emotional wounds, and moments of doubt. When those storms come, it's not passion or excitement that holds a couple together, it's loyalty. The simple but powerful act of staying, supporting, and continuing to love, even when things are imperfect, creates unshakable confidence in the strength of the bond. It says we are in this together no matter what. Faithfulness also has a ripple effect beyond the couple. Children raised in an environment where faithfulness is modeled often grow up with a stronger sense of identity and emotional stability. They learn what it means to trust, to be dependable, and to honor their word. In communities, faithful relationships set examples for others, showing that lasting love is possible and that loyalty is still something worth honoring. Ultimately, faithfulness builds the kind of confidence that allows love to not only survive but thrive. It transforms a relationship from a fragile arrangement into a deeply rooted partnership. In that space, both people grow stronger, not just as individuals but as a team. They become more than lovers or partners. They become safe havens for each other's hearts, knowing that in a world of uncertainty, they have found something rare, steady, and real. Respect nurtures leadership in a way that few other qualities can. It is not simply about admiring someone or giving them authority, it is about acknowledging their worth, their potential, and their humanity. When a person feels respected, they are empowered to lead with confidence, clarity, and compassion. Respect lays the groundwork for influence that is earned rather than imposed, and it creates an environment where leadership can flourish from the inside out. Leadership is not just a position, it is a responsibility. Whether in a family, a relationship, a workplace, or a community, the strength of a leader often depends on how they are perceived and supported by those around them. Respect is the fuel that helps leaders rise to their role. When someone feels respected, especially by those closest to them, it activates their sense of responsibility and inspires them to live up to that trust. It encourages accountability, maturity, and growth. Respect says, I see something in you. I believe in your ability to guide, protect, or provide. That belief can awaken strength that might otherwise remain dormant. In a relationship, respect between partners creates balance. When a woman respects her man, not just for what he does, but for who he is, it encourages him to step into his leadership role with humility and strength. It is not about dominance or control, it is about honoring his role in the relationship and giving him the space to lead with love. Respect is not blind obedience, it is recognition. It says, I trust your intentions, I value your wisdom, I am with you. That kind of support does not inflate ego, it deepens responsibility. The same is true in reverse. When a man respects his partner, he becomes a better leader in the relationship. He listens more, values her input, and leads with integrity rather than pride. Respect between both partners creates a powerful dynamic where leadership is shared, trust is mutual, and decisions are made in unity. This kind of partnership builds a solid foundation where each person's strengths are recognized and their voices are heard. Outside of intimate relationships, respect continues to be the cornerstone of effective leadership. In the workplace, a respected leader earns loyalty, not because they demand it, but because they inspire it. They treat others with dignity, give credit where it's due, and lead by example. Employees or team members who feel respected tend to work harder, communicate more openly, and take greater pride in their work. Respect fosters collaboration, and collaboration leads to progress. Even in personal development, respect plays a key role. When individuals respect themselves, when they value their time, their boundaries, and their growth, they naturally begin to carry themselves as leaders. They are less likely to tolerate toxic situations, more likely to set healthy standards, and more equipped to influence those around them in a positive way. Self-respect builds self-leadership, and self-leadership is the first step to leading others. In families, children who are raised in an environment of respect learn how to lead with compassion.
When parents respect their children's feelings while still guiding them with discipline and love, it models balanced leadership. Children in turn grow up understanding how to respect others while standing firm in their values. Respect becomes a cycle that shapes future leaders in every generation. Ultimately, respect is not just a feeling, it is an action. It shows up in how we speak, how we listen, how we respond, and how we support. It is the quiet strength that lifts others into their potential. It does not demand leadership, it inspires it. In every space, from home to society, from one-on-one relationships to group dynamics, respect creates the conditions where leadership can not only exist, but thrive. And in a world that needs wise, strong, and compassionate leaders more than ever, respect remains one of the most powerful forces we can give and receive. Shared vision elevates legacy. Shared vision elevates legacy by uniting purpose with partnership. When two people, especially in a committed relationship, align their goals and values, they begin to build something greater than individual success. They lay the foundation for a lasting impact. A shared vision doesn't mean thinking exactly the same or always agreeing on every detail. It means having a common direction, a mutual understanding of where the relationship is headed, and what both people are building together. This clarity gives the relationship strength, purpose, and endurance. When a couple shares a vision, they transform from simply living together to co-creating a life of meaning. Whether it's raising a family, growing a business, serving a community, or pursuing spiritual growth, the unified pursuit of a higher purpose binds them more deeply. It gives their efforts structure. It gives their sacrifices meaning. They're no longer just reacting to life. They're designing it together. And in doing so, they plant seeds that will bear fruit far beyond their own lifetimes. Legacy is not only about what you leave behind in terms of money or reputation. It's about the values, character, and impact that endure through your children, your work, your love, and your community. When two people are aligned in vision, every decision they make becomes intentional. They ask, does this bring us closer to the life we want to create? Does this strengthen the foundation we're building? That kind of alignment eliminates confusion, reduces conflict, and enhances harmony. A shared vision also breeds resilience. Life will inevitably bring challenges, financial stress, health issues, loss, or failure. But when both partners are anchored in a shared why, they are less likely to be shaken by the storms. They can look at each other and remember that they are not opponents but allies. The vision reminds them that they are working towards something larger than the present pain. It becomes their compass in dark times, guiding them back to unity, even when emotions run high. Beyond personal goals, a shared vision often includes a desire to influence others positively. Couples who serve together, give together, or lead together often leave the strongest legacies. Their children watch them and learn the power of teamwork, sacrifice, and consistency. Their communities benefit from their collective efforts. Their story inspires others to believe in love that builds rather than consumes. And this kind of influence can echo across generations.
Shared vision requires communication and intentionality. It doesn't happen by accident. It must be talked about, written down, and revisited regularly. Both people must be willing to adjust when life circumstances shift. As they grow individually, their vision may evolve, but as long as their core values and goals remain aligned, the bond grows stronger. Dreams that once seemed distant start to become reality, one step at a time. One of the most powerful results of shared vision is the sense of legacy it creates while you're still living. When a couple begins to see the fruits of their labor, the stable home, the healthy children, the lives touched by their example, they begin to taste the impact of their unity. It's no longer about momentary pleasure or individual ambition. It's about the quiet joy of knowing they built something real, something that lasts, something that mattered. In a world where many relationships are based on convenience or emotion alone, a shared vision sets couples apart. It gives their love a mission, it aligns their strengths, it creates direction, and over time that shared purpose elevates their legacy, turning their love story into something timeless. Not just a life lived, but a life that lives on in the hearts they touched, the work they accomplished, and the example they set. That is the power of a shared vision. It doesn't just build a life, it builds a legacy. Love that builds, not binds. Love that builds, not binds, is a love that empowers rather than controls. It is a relationship rooted in freedom, trust, and growth. This kind of love encourages each person to become the best version of themselves, not out of obligation, but through mutual inspiration and support. It does not seek to possess, limit, or reshape the other to fit personal expectations. Instead, it nurtures individuality while creating a shared space of respect, safety, and deep connection. At the heart of love that builds is the understanding that real intimacy doesn't demand control. When someone truly loves you, they want to see you rise. They celebrate your dreams, support your ambitions, and offer guidance without manipulation. They don't feel threatened by your strength or independence. In fact, your growth becomes a shared joy, This love pushes both people forward spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even professionally. In contrast, love that binds tends to be rooted in fear and insecurity. It tries to contain and confine. It may appear passionate on the surface, but underneath is a need to control, to own, or to be needed in unhealthy ways. This kind of love creates emotional dependency, where one or both partners feel suffocated, unable to fully express themselves or grow beyond the limits of the relationship. Over time, such love can become draining and damaging, leaving both people feeling unfulfilled. Building love requires effort, patience, and intentionality. It means communicating openly, listening deeply, and being willing to support your partner even when it's inconvenient. It means recognizing that your partner is not your property but your equal, someone who brings their own purpose, personality, and path to the relationship. When both people are committed to building love rather than binding each other, the relationship becomes a source of energy rather than exhaustion. This type of love also invites vulnerability. Because there is no fear of punishment or rejection, both partners can be honest about their thoughts, feelings, and struggles. They don't have to wear masks or walk on eggshells. This openness fosters deeper connection, greater understanding, and lasting trust. When you know that you are loved for who you are, not just for what you offer, you are free to be your true self. That freedom becomes a foundation for transformation, both individually and as a couple. Love that builds is also deeply respectful. It honors boundaries, celebrates differences, and makes room for change. No one remains exactly the same over time, and building love means growing with each other, not resenting evolution. When both partners accept that change is part of life, they can navigate it together with grace and flexibility. In healthy love, there is interdependence, not codependence. Each person brings their strength, but they also lean on each other when needed. They are not trying to complete each other because they know they are already whole. Instead, they choose to walk together, side by side, building a shared life that reflects both of their values and dreams. Their love is not a cage, it is a launch pad. Such love leaves a lasting impact. It not only nurtures the individuals within it, but also serves as an example to others. Children raised in a home with love that builds grow up understanding the importance of mutual respect and emotional freedom. Friends and family members feel inspired by the strength and peace that radiates from such a union. It becomes more than a personal connection. It becomes a legacy. Ultimately, love that builds doesn't demand perfection. It requires presence. It's not about constant agreement, but about consistent support. It grows not through control, but through care. And in a world where many relationships fall into patterns of possession and insecurity, love that builds stands out. It uplifts, it empowers, it heals, and most of all, it endures.